Any advice at this point in my life, it's this: try not to live with fear.
That was from a post by one of my favorite comedians who talks about when it was the 90s. And I can relate to much of what he posts. But as your HR big sister, let me share a little bit about living with fear at work. There are 3 ways I see people live with fear in the workplace. And this is based on my own experiences of anxiety and depression, and as an HR executive and talent leader for over 20 years. The first way in which we let fear overtake our workplace is in imposter syndrome. Many of us feel that we aren't qualified for and are going to get found out for being unprepared and ill-equipped to do the work assigned to us. Much of this comes from our own insecurities and pasts that we bring with us into the workplace. Often we don't know how that everyone else around us is feeling the same way. In fact, the higher up in the organization you go, the more you realize no one really knows what they're doing. Everyone is making it up as they go along, trying to leverage what they've learned in the past, paying attention to what they can learn from others, and applying it in new and creative ways. The second way to deal with fear in the workplace is to be really crystal clear about your values and your personal goals. Why are you working beyond just a paycheck? What makes this role important for you and for your future? When we're crisp about why we work and we realize it isn't for the approval of our peers and bosses, it isn't so that we can be of value to one specific organization, it frees us up to explore new ideas and try new things. Because the honest truth is, if you were to be let go, you'd be able to find something else and you'd be able to take everything you learned with you. In fact, often leaving a job is the best way to accelerate your career. So our constant fear of being let go or rejected, that can hinder us from taking the leaps we need to take and challenging ourselves to learn new things. Finally, and this is a big one, we fear taking risks and failing because of what others might think. The optics, the story we have to tell that recruiter when we apply for the next job. And look, some of that is real. Trust me, I get a lot of questions about why I left the job as I did, or why I've moved, or why I'm looking to make a move. The only way we can start to change that narrative is if we collectively start to change that narrative. If we start to tell stories of how we'd learned what we needed to learn, we were ready for new challenges. Whatever the motivation is for you to seek something new, we need to collectively work together to start to change the story, because nobody stays at the same job forever.